both ends of the spectrum. I've had very active conversations with people who are in positions to make massive change possible in the American theater, where they've acknowledged the need for change, and often, off the record, more need for change than they will sometimes publicly admit. The opposite end of the spectrum, I've had very clearly had people, artistic directors, let me know that I should never come near their theater ever, and that they have nothing to say to me ever. Which, I was very afraid when I started doing the show, because I make my living in the American theater, and so it was really clear to me that this was potentially career ending. Like, it wasn't clear. In retrospect now, people are like, oh, and people do the show, it's so clear. It was not clear to us. Like, it wasn't clear to me that it was going to go well. But comparatively, it has. And I have to say, I was glad that I did it for many reasons. But one of the reasons, actually, it's enormously pragmatic. It's really clarifying to do something like this, because then you polarize the room, and then the people who don't want to listen to you, you didn't want to work with those people anyway. It really cuts out a lot of bullshit. You don't have to even deal with those people anymore. They've declared themselves, they're out of the equation, and then you can talk to people who are interested in having conversations, or are interested in developing artistic communities. And so it's been nice knowing the people I'm working with tend to be in that group, and they're people who want to hold those values and see how to make them work. It's really about the corporatization of workplaces everywhere. And there's actually a lot of overlap between the stories of what has changed in the American theater and what's changed especially in newspaper publishing. It's kind of a fascinating thing. So very often after the show, one of the reactions I get beyond theater people is a feeling of recognition. I mean, one of the things that's sort of shocking, once you understand it, one of the things that's shocking about the changing state of the American theater is that I don't think the theater has fully woken up to the fact that they're actually symbiotically linked to the newspaper industry, and that newspaper is having a cataclysmic implosion. And so theater was already having a lot of problems, and I don't think theater has woken up to the fact, like a lot of things we do, even the structure of how shows are run are built around the idea that there's a night for reviews, and those reviews are built around newspapers. And so as column inches shrink and vanish, I mean, really, we go to a lot of large theaters, and there's not really a sense yet. There's just an acknowledgement that they need to get an online presence, but there really isn't a plan for how to replace the ability to get word out to that many people. It's real. It's a crisis. Well, in a sense, I had a lot of work as a traditional actor, so that wasn't the problem. The problem, though, was that I wanted to do work that I was deeply compelled by. I was getting really, I was working the garage theaters of Seattle, and I was getting. And I did some fantastic work in that setting, but I was getting really, I really wanted to take control, of what I was doing. There's an incredible amount of powerlessness in the American theater, in the way it functions on every level, and but I think few would argue that probably one of the least powerful places is being a performer or an actor. Incredible amount of powerlessness, and I wanted more agency. I just couldn't live with the amount of agency there was. So it was some combination of the desire for agency in my work mixed with the desire to find a form that would allow me to unify the different parts of myself.